Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. All right, Michael. You just touched down in Las Vegas. It's about what, 2 weeks, almost exactly 2 weeks, right? To the day.
Yeah, 2 weeks out. Yeah.
How does it feel, man? It's getting inching closer and closer.
Yeah, I mean, it's another day, another fight, I've been coming to Vegas a bunch. I've been out here before, corner my buddy Malcolm Gordon. So, it's a little surreal at the moment. I guess once the lights and the people and the interviews and all that kind of stuff happens, it might change, but at the moment, it's all right. It's good.
Nice, nice. What's the rest of the camp look like for you? In Vegas.
Yeah, I have a bunch of friends out here. My coach is a black belt under Mark Lehman from Cobra Kai out in Vegas. So Jerry and Shane Shapiro, they're over at Syndicate. So I'll be over there. I'll hang out with them, and I'll just keep training, keep moving, keep everything sharp. Focus on the weight cut. Stay away from the family, the kids, the food, and just keep everything sharp for sure. Make sure no injuries and just nice and light.
Yeah, that's one obstacle I notice about fighters that have kids is that's the obstacle. Is like when you have kids, the food is always around, and they don't eat all their food, and you're like the what is it, the backup to finish everything.
Yeah. Oh, and they always got the good stuff. I got to eat healthy, and they got something good, and so you just want that. So yeah, a little break from that, it's good for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now let's talk about the opponent, man, Cortavious. What are your thoughts on him and his skill set?
To be honest, man, when Sean Shelby hit me up, they gave me a name. They asked me if I was down, and my answer was whoever you give me is good enough for me. Appreciate the opportunity. So I mean, I don't really watch too much of any of my opponents. My whole career I had a lot of switches, last minute replacements, and just happened again in my last one. So I don't focus too much. I don't care too much. I let my coach watch. I did see a little bit of tape on him. Uh, he's young. He's fresh. He's a little bit younger than I am. He's jacked up. He's gonna wrestle. He has some striking. He has some ground. I just think I can beat him everywhere. So he's a tough athlete. Every fight's a tough one. He's definitely a dangerous dude, and we'll find out on the 20th.
Yeah, when you go on to your Tapology, man, you have, I think, just as many canceled fights as actual fights. Going through all of that, man, it must have been hectic, man. Especially, you've been fighting since 2010, I believe.
Yes, sir. And yeah, and they're not all. There's a lot more on there that weren't reported or whatever. So there's another 4 or 5 that were canceled, and some day of, some day before, some at the weight. Like it's been crazy, man. It's been a crazy journey.
What's the worst experience you've had?
With this, I mean, I guess the worst would be, and again, funny enough, I came out here first time ever doing a fight camp, and I came with my coach. My wife was 9 months pregnant, so 10-month mark would have been the baby, and me and my coach came out here for 3 weeks. I was supposed to fight Noah Ali, and I believe that was just after UFC rescinded my contract, and either way, I came out here, did that, showed up, weighed in. The guy weighed in an hour before the weigh-in. They called me. They're like, "You're off the card," and his mom was in the hospital. And I found out the next day she had a gallstone. I was in his hometown. I thought it was something serious, so it is what it is. And then when I heard what it was, if that was me, I would have showed up. That was probably the worst. Just making weight, spending the money, being out here for 3 weeks. I was in the best shape of my life for that one, and didn't get to go down. So.
Yeah, and Cortavious, he actually is fighting for the second time on the Contender Series. He fought last year. What did you think of that fight?
So the guy he fought actually, I was offered him a couple years ago in Florida for combat night, I believe. He's a tough dude. Um, they both came out swinging. When you meet in the middle, anything can happen. Everyone has a swingy's chance, right? So, um, I mean, there's not much. Two guys swinging. He got clipped. He's throwing straight punches. Tavares touched him. Tavares was also coming back from a shitty stoppage himself. He got stopped by Sidney Siri, I believe. So they brought him back. So yeah, a little different, but both of them look like they're just trying to make an action-packed fight, which I guess what they're looking for. But yeah, someone's gonna fall. So I mean, there's not too much to take from it besides two guys just stepping in the middle, meeting in the middle, and swinging, right? So
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect of the Contender Series, right? You want to be exciting, but you also want to win the fight. You know what I mean? You just don't want to be exciting, right? And then get clipped
of course,
and put out and be on ESPN, right?
yeah, you're the favorite for the other guy. Thank you very much. Here you go. Here's a free meal ticket. But yeah, you'd definitely be exciting. In my whole career, I've always had fight of the night finishes. I've always rang it. I always stepped forward. I always came in, never backed up. The grappling, has always been most of my submissions they've got fight of the night in the UFC for, so some bonuses. So I mean, I'm not worried about me making it exciting and getting the win, but very smart about it for sure.
What do you think is like an intangible that kind of separates you from a lot of the Contender Series fighters that are on the show this year?
I just think I'm older. So me, 10 years ago when I had a contract, I would beat the shit out of that guy. A lot more experience, know how to pace myself. I've been through a lot more. I've been in some wars. I went through some decisions. A lot of fights I took with short notice. Out of shape, just taking them, just trying to get back. Right. So when you watch all of my fights, you can't really find out what kind of fighter I am. You can't compare because none of them are two of the same. Right. So to study me is very difficult, where everyone else kind of is the same in every single fight. So it's gonna be hard for them to study. Number one, and number two, I just believe I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, and I'm very patient, and I bring it. So definitely a lot different fighter than I was before, and the new generation, I don't believe the ground is on the same level that I had or I have and I have experienced, competing over the years. I believe a lot of guys now, they just push the pace. They have crazy cardio. Some submissions are there, some aren't, but they're not perfect. They're pretty sloppy, and then they all want to focus on striking and wrestling. So I don't believe they have the same skill set I do when it comes to the ground for sure.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from people that the young guys coming up nowadays, they neglect jujitsu, they neglect the submission game. Do you see that a lot?
I mean, that's what I see the most, right? I mean, for the striking part, we've always known guys in MMA, you can't compare them. If you want to watch striking, you're going to go watch boxing or kickboxing, right? There's not too many guys that are crisp strikers, and myself included. I'm not a crisp striker, but I'll touch you. I won't back up, and I'll make it exciting. I'll get in on you, and when I put you down, it's different, right? But I spent a lot of time grappling, 18 years, I believe. So um, a lot of jiu-jitsu matches, over 230, 40 matches. So it adds up, and experience will speak for itself.
Yeah, I want to rewind back to this was a while ago, man, but I think this is the only time you've ever lost consecutive fights. It was three in a row. Um, Take us back to that time, man. Going through that and digging yourself out of that slump because it expanded through like a couple of years as well.
Yeah, so not by choice. Just it's always been tough to get fights back home. Number one, but that was right after I got signed by the UFC. They gave me 2, 3 offers. Third one was to fight Aljamain Sterling. That was the first one. Didn't couldn't get my visa. Second one, injury or medical or something happened. Third one, and they were all back to back. Third one was Aljamain Sterling. I said yes. Rescinded my contract within 24 hours. So I was just trying to get back to UFC as fast as possible. Fought Julio Arce very short notice. Didn't really have a camp for him. Um, he was a great striker. He touched me. He moved. He did well. He beat me that fight. And there's not much that I can do about that. So, sorry, was it? Lower that. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah. So he touched me. He moved, and I couldn't do much to him. So he outperformed me that night. But again, short notice, and I didn't have time to prep for that. And then the second one was with TK. Also, and that one as well. They want in the States is different than back home. They wanted certain medicals right away, like a CAT scan or MRI. And I went to New York City with my brother-in-law's birthday. We partied over there, so I didn't get that done in enough time. So they suspended me for a year because I didn't get that paperwork in, and then I had to clear that paperwork, or get that cleared before I fought. And then that came to that fight I was talking about, where the guy pulled out the weigh-in. And then that fight, my wife had to go to the hospital because our doctors back home signed on the computer. In the States, they wanted it signed physically. So she had to go find the doctor, get that MRI signed to clear me for that 1 year suspension. That fight was supposed to be a day or two later. So I got cleared for all that, did all that, never happened. And then I got Xavier Alloway, and I signed with, sorry, I don't know which one was first, Xavier Alloway or Savalas. Either way, one of them I fought. I got cut on my face. I was winning the fight. Second round got cut. Doctor stopped it, and so I got screwed on that one. So that was like kicking the butt. And then I had my daughter. Yeah, I had my daughter, and she was a few months. And then I had TKO, and I fought one of GSP's guys, and I believe I won the first round clearly. Second round, I dropped him, but flip a coin. Third round, he out-jabbed me. So I believe I got screwed on that one too. So it was tough, man. It was like you couldn't catch a break, and every moment, even till now, till today, like I was supposed to be out here yesterday, my flight got canceled and delayed, and hours on the phone and changing things, and it's just every time I'm gonna fight, it's like God's telling me not to. It's telling me don't do something else, and I just keep saying no, and I just keep grinding, and I don't know. I have a little bit of hope. I have some young students and athletes. Some of them are here with me, and I just keep helping them. But that helps me in return. That keeps the fire alive. And when I see them do it, I want to do it, and I have a chance to do it at the highest level, right? So I don't really know how I dug so deep and got this far, but some miracle. My kids came along and they love the gym, they love the people. My students are young, they love being around them. So many things that just it's kind of day to day. Like when you think you're out of it, then the next day something pops up and you get a little bit of hope, or and then it goes from there. And in my last fight, I was just looking to beat the shit of somebody that I had some beef with for 5 years, and I can beat him up and not get arrested for it, and then that guy pulled out 2 weeks before, and then they gave me Ricky Banderas, who's a tough opponent. But I'm like, fuck it, we're here. I sold some tickets, it's local. Dana White was there. That came last minute, and I mean, you couldn't script that, and I had no idea that wasn't the plan, right? So everything kind of fell together, and then right after, told me to stick around, and then a couple days later, I got trying to show me my inbox where I was chasing him for 10 years, and now he's messaging me, So fuck, it's crazy, man. I really don't know how I did it. I literally went day to day, and I'm happy I did, But now is the biggest step of my whole career, and now's the time to really put on the line, So
Yeah, man, very inspirational, and it's safe to say that nothing's gonna really surprise you moving on with your career because you've probably seen everything possible.
yeah, I'm ready for it all, man. You can't pull a fast one on me no more, and yeah, I'm ready for all of it for sure.
Yeah, and can you talk about the team around you that's getting you ready for this Contender Series fight? Your coaches, your training partners.
Yeah, so I started coaching at Xtreme. I used to teach at Xtreme Couture Toronto years ago. I used to teach the kids program, and then we kind of left for a bit. Kind of around the time of UFC, I got married. I had 2 kids, and bought a house, and things were slowing down. My coach kind of thought I was blacklisted, and he was out. I was like the youngest of that group, and he was kind of done with the sport. And then as I kept grinding and coming around again, he kind of came back in, not thinking that we'd be back in the UFC, but thinking that we'd just stick it out till I'm done, and he'd be by my side. In the meantime, we'd be building other people. So back at Xtreme Couture Toronto, been there for a few years, and teaching, and with my coach Sam Zakula is my coach my whole career. Um, so I just been, as long as I have him beside me, it's all good. And I mean, I have my student who's with me here talking in the background, Bilal Nasari. He's 4-0 now. He moved from Afghanistan to Toronto. Got him 4 fights. One fight, guy pulled out at the weigh-in, same situation, so would have been 5-0. But either way, we got him. So we're working on him, working on me. We got a bunch of amateurs, a bunch of young kids. So I don't really have any big names that I'm going to throw out at you, but everyone in the gym helps me. All the students help me. They show up every day. They're all training for different things, whether it's MMA or grappling or different kickboxing events, and we mix it all together. And we all just show up every day. We do our hill sprints together, and we make it a big team. And just having that team on the outside of the cage, it makes a big difference for when you have to do it on the inside. So it's just a bunch of really young kids with a really high IQ coach, and then I'm kind of somewhere in the middle there, just helping out and keeping it all together, and still grinding, right? So yeah, it's a great combo for now, and I've never had to change it. When I got this fight, a lot of people asked where am I doing my camp, and I looked at them like right here, where I've always done it. And coming to Vegas is just to adapt to the altitude. Plus, I have a lot of friends here, and I can train anyways. But yeah, it was just more for the altitude. Otherwise, I would stay at home all the way till the fight.
Yeah, a lot of people expect like, oh, you're gonna drop this name or that name, but speaking with fighters, man, some of the best fighters you to train with are the amateurs and the guys that are younger coming up because they
Yeah.
really don't give a shit, right? Like they're gonna come in there and come at you.
They're there. I mean, most of them are there every day. Bilal over here became a superstar. But you win a few, take time off, and you enjoy the moment, right? Which is fine. But yeah, most part, everyone's there every day, and they show up. So it's nice when you're there and you help people out, and then they're there every day and they help you out. Because just having that, just the people around you. You gotta go for a run, whatever you gotta do. Just having someone beside you just pushes you that much more. It makes that much better. So.
Vegas, the altitude, is that something that is an issue for some people when they get there? The weather, the heat?
So yeah, temperature. I mean, it is what it is wherever you go.
Mhm.
But in Toronto, I believe we're like 200 feet above sea level, and Vegas, I believe they're 2,000 feet above sea level.
Oh.
So you're a lot higher. So I believe there's a lot less oxygen. And from what I know, a lot of people from here they'll go to like Big Bear,
Mhm.
I guess in LA, and that's like 4 or 6,000 square feet feet above sea level. So yeah, it's just different way. As soon as you land, like the first week, these
Mhm.
3 to 5 days, you're shot. Like I go in the room, like man, I have no cardio. And then finally it kicks in after a couple of days, and you feel normal again. But at the beginning, you can be the best athlete, and then you just feel like out of shape real quick.
Yeah,
So that's from
that's
my experience.
nuts. Yeah.
Whatever the science is behind, it, I couldn't tell you, but yeah.
Well, that's where experience comes in, right? Because if you didn't know and you just showed up 3 days ahead of the fight just to weigh in, and you're just fucked. Like it
Well, yeah.
could happen.
Good luck. Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that you've been fighting back and forth from bantamweight to featherweight. Most recently, you've been fighting at featherweight, right? How do you feel like different? What are the differences you feel between the weight classes?
I mean, I always tell everyone I'm not dumb either, and I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat things. At 35, I can fight the best guys in the world, no problem. Put me in for a championship fight today, you know, Sean O'Malley, you want to step, let's do it, no problem. At 45, I can't say the same. The top 10 guys would be very difficult. Size matters, weight classes for a reason, leverage, and all that. So at 45, is the weight cut easier? For sure. Am I a little bit bigger? Do I feel a little bit better? Do I have to kill myself as much? No. So it's nice, but you can only fight certain people. You can't fight the top tier 45ers. Where at 35, you make that weight, you sacrifice a little bit. I can fight anybody. So at the highest level, which we're at now, that's what you got to do. But that does cost money, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time, healthy foods. So it depends on what it is, right? If it's the big prize, then you're gonna do everything for it. If it's just whatever, some average guy you think you can beat, and sometimes that stabs you in the back. You think the guy, you underestimate him, and maybe you shouldn't have been there. So that's for the most part. The other thing was most of my fights are last minute. It's hard to get an opponent, so it's always last minute replacement, or they switch, or a guy. I know notice on a show like 2-3 months, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks before, okay, we got you someone. It's like, well, I wasn't dieting the whole time because I didn't think I was gonna fight. So we do it at 40 or 45, or they're out of town and the hotel they're coming to has no sauna and they can't cut weight. So whatever, the 5-10 pounds not gonna make a difference when we both fight the same weight class. So we're both 235ers, and you're going to fight at 45, 55, whatever. Doesn't make a difference. If I've known they made 35 because I know they can, I know that's their body frame. But if I see a guy's only made 45 his whole career and he's top of the food chain, it's going to be a very tough, dangerous fight. So, yeah, that's all that comes to play. It's not by choice. If I can choose, and if I fought in the UFC, or which the plan is it will be at 35. I'll make a sacrifice every time. And a perfect example, Conor McGregor. At 45, he's knocking out everybody. He's a world champ, and then he got rich, he got lazy, and now 55, 70, whatever he wants, right? But at 45, he looked like he was going to die on the scale, and then he came out and took care of business, right? 55, 70, looked big and plump on the scale, and then you kind of get embarrassed a little bit, right? But
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane, like how much he tried to kill himself for 45. But what are your expectations, man, out of yourself in this fight coming up on Contenders?
expect myself to just go in there, man. Once that gate closes, that's when things get real for me, and kind of just flip that switch, and you just go. So I expect myself to come forward like always, and obviously I expect to win. Can't promise you how, but 12 wins, 9 first round finishes. This guy's has some jiu-jitsu, so just let him know what the real jiu-jitsu is. It would be nice to put him to sleep, put him out, whatever it is. But if he wants to bang, we can bang, and I'll play it by ear. We'll see what happens. Doesn't matter where the fight goes, I'll be all right. But I know I'm going to push forward the whole time. You're not going to see me back up, and you're going to see me go in there and do whatever I have to do to win and leave with the contract for sure.
August 20th, Contender Series, UFC Apex. Canada's in the house. Thank you, Michael, for the time. All the best in the fight. And yeah, man, hopefully we see you make your, debut in the octagon later this year or early next year, whatever works out.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And my stay is booked till September 4th. So I booked 2 weeks extra just in case someone gets injured. There's a show 2 weeks later at the Apex, and there's a show 3 weeks later at the Sphere. So whoever, wherever someone pulls out, someone wants to have that cancellation on their record, I'm right here, bro. I'll step up. So yeah, whoever, wherever, whenever, I'm going to get this win. I'm going to get that contract. I'm going to stick around for a couple weeks and hopefully get another one right away.